This week on Adventist News Network, church officials lobby for the release of a pastor imprisoned in Togo.
Raising awareness of childhood obesity in North America.
And media professionals push for a unified communication strategy.
These stories and more coming up.
This is Adventist News Network, a service of the Seventh-day Adventist World Church. Thanks so much for joining us this week.
First in the news, Adventist lawyers and human rights advocates are calling for the immediate release of an Adventist pastor they say is imprisoned on dubious charges in the West African nation of Togo. Antonio Monteiro was detained in March after a Togolese man implicated him and two other Christians as conspirators in an alleged human blood trafficking network. Police in Togo have found no evidence of Monteiro's involvement, and church leaders are maintaining his innocence. They recently visited Monteiro in prison and are working with government officials to secure his release.
It's important that people know that when an innocent Adventist is in prison, of course if he's innocent, he or she is not alone. They have millions of brothers and sisters around the world praying for them. And of course, God is with them. And we will do everything we can for helping them. And we hope that in the case of Pastor Monteiro, justice will prevail.
Monteiro is a native of Cape Verde and has served as Sabbath School and Personal Ministries Director for the church in Togo since 2009.
Thousands of Adventists in North America made strides recently in raising awareness of childhood obesity. As George Johnson reports, their efforts drew the attention of government officials, community members, and one very special participant.
More Americans are becoming overweight or obese, exercising less, and eating unhealthy foods. The Seventh-day Adventist Church in North America is addressing this serious issue with its Adventist in Step for Life initiative.
We are really about helping families, children, adults at any age be healthy, physically, mentally, spiritually, experience well-being in every area of their life.
As a part of the Adventist in Step for Life goals, Reinhard has declared an annual Let's Move Day, which directly supports an initiative from the United States White House that addresses the issue of childhood obesity.
So when you start young in the families and the kids, get them moving, get them making healthy choices, it's very likely that they will be healthy as they grow as adolescents and adults.
On September 23rd, Adventist church members participated in local Let's Move Day events. Reinhard, White House, and other officials were present at a 5K walk-run in Queens, New York to bring awareness to healthier lifestyles, with the oldest participant being 103 years old.
How I feel? I feel fine.
Having health-based initiatives work inside of churches and religious groups is tremendously important. People get not only their spiritual health, but their physical health and their mental health from churches. And the Seventh-day Adventists being involved in something like this is not only a blessing to the parish and the congregation, but also to the larger community who also feed off of that.
If you would like more information on how to stay fit or to create a Let's Move Day event, visit www.adventistinstepforlife.org. This is George Johnson reporting for Adventist News Network.
Let's Move Day 2013 takes place on Sunday, September 22, so mark your calendars now.
Adventist media professionals say church public relations and marketing could benefit from more international collaboration. Close to 100 church employees and lay members met last week to explore how the church can work in a more integrated way. They resolved to conduct a worldwide communication audit and form a committee to oversee global communication initiatives. Media professionals also committed to promoting the Adventist brand. Already, the Adventist Church has more buildings branded with the denomination's logo than McDonald's and Subway restaurants combined. But church leaders say increased use of the Seventh-day Adventist name and official logo can further strengthen the church's identity. The media summit came at the request of Adventist World Church President Ted Wilson.
The Media Communication Summit is absolutely vital because it is helping to form a perspective on the part of media leaders around the world as to how we can best present the Seventh-day Adventist Church in terms of branding, if you want to call it, and also how to present the message of Seventh-day Adventists, the three angels' messages, in a most powerful, interrelated, integrated manner that people all over the world will say, yes, that's from the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
New research in Australia and New Zealand is offering clues about what helps young people grow spiritually and avoid risky behavior. The Value Genesis study surveyed more than 3,000 students attending Adventist high schools in the South Pacific. Researchers found that students with significant family, church, and academic support are more likely to remain strong in their faith. The study also shows that Adventist students are up to 10 times less likely than the average young person to engage in risky behaviors such as binge drinking, drug use, and early sexual activity.
I think the care, the attention, intentionality, making sure that we are investing in our young people, and there's a host of things they can do to get involved. It's not just any one. But the more ways that we can connect our young people with the church and with the mission of the church, the more likely they are to stay.
Adventist World Church President Ted Wilson has released his first book. It's called Almost Home, A Call to Reformation and Revival. The book was published and released this week by the Church's Pacific Press Publishing Association. Elder Wilson said the book urges readers to commit to God and serve others.
Adventist leaders in Mongolia say a week-long evangelism series held in Ulaanbaatar last month signals a new focus on urban outreach in the region. Close to 1,000 people met in 9 Adventist churches in and around the capital city for the meetings. Presenters say the message of hope resonated with the audience despite the country's ambivalence towards Christianity.
We are so happy, but we don't want to stop today. We want more. We want to move forward by the power of the Holy Spirit. We want to revive ourselves first, be full of the Holy Spirit, and then we want to move forward, sharing the hope we have in Jesus Christ.
The meetings also set a foundation in the region for a major outreach event in Tokyo planned for next year. The capital city of Japan is one of 21 key cities worldwide where Adventists will hold coordinated evangelism events next year.
And finally in the news this week, an Adventist teenager was named the best student in Nicaragua last month. Nathan Leopold Hilton earned first place in a national competition measuring proficiency in math and science. Hilton was recognized by the country's Minister of Education during a recent ceremony in Managua. The 11th grader is the first student from the Nicaragua Adventist Vocational School to receive such recognition.
Coming up, we have a preview of the latest issue of Adventist World. This month, the magazine explores how health evangelism can impact urban communities.
I've hit rock bottom. I'm at my wit's end. I've been searching, looking for something more. Some people stop here. Some people don't get up. But I haven't given up hope yet. And I know it's going to take faith.
Welcome back. Let's turn to Gerald Klingbeil for a look at this month's issue of Adventist World.
Does health evangelism work when the mission field is postmodern Europe? This week in Adventist World, our cover story, For People, by People, reports on an exciting, vibrant approach to health evangelism in Portugal. This is not just the story of God's providential leading in the establishment of a health center that is meeting local needs. No, it's much bigger than that. This project represents a new model of how supporting health ministries and the organized church can work as a team to bring Jesus to a secular world. And that's just the beginning. There's plenty more to keep you glued to your copy. Adventist World has something for everyone in our worldwide family. All of us can benefit from Pastor Ted Wilson's World Vista article, in which he explores a biblical approach to working through our differences within the church. Going hand in hand with this theme, Tony Oreso from Kenya explores the concept of peacemaking. Our author for this quarter Sabbath School lesson guide, Dr. Kwabena Donkor, traces Ellen White's journey to understanding the importance of the seventh-day Sabbath. And in the second part of his two-part series, Nathan Thomas describes the life of pioneer Michael Tchaikovsky. Join your worldwide Adventist family as you find all this and more online or in printed form in your copy of Adventist World.
Pathfinders is an Adventist-sponsored club for 10 to 15-year-olds with more than 2 million members worldwide. This week, Jared Canonical explains how club members are supporting the independent ministry Adventist World Aviation.
On Friday, August 17, 2012, a bright yellow plane touched down on the airstrip at the McDermott Airport in Sullivan, Wisconsin. This airplane was returning home after approximately 6 years and nearly 2,000 hours of service in the jungles of Guyana. This plane, known as the Pathfinder plane, was made possible by a concerted effort on the part of the Pathfinders. After helping to purchase the plane in December of 1998, Pathfinders from 9 different clubs cleaned, sanded, and stripped the paint from the aircraft. By August, more than 400 Pathfinders from at least 35 different clubs had been involved with the repairs. The plan was that they would complete the project during the week of the Pathfinder Camporee held in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. The airplane was painted bright yellow with red stripes, matching the scarves worn by the Pathfinders. The team worked diligently and completed their task in time for the dedication ceremony on Saturday, August 14, 1999. This yellow plane has carried over 4,000 passengers. There have been approximately 400 medical evacuations, transported nearly 1,000 patients and health workers, and taken 1,200 people back home to their villages. It has carried missionaries to areas in the jungle that were previously inaccessible, provided transportation to nearly 1,000 passengers for church outreach and AWA operations. It has truly been God's plane. Our hope at AWA is not only that this plane, but others like it, be rebuilt and recommissioned to bring the gospel message to the ends of the earth and prepare humanity for the soon coming of Jesus. If you would like to help and for more information, go to flyawa.org.
For our Adventist social media feature this week, Megan Bronner interviews Viola Cherie Watson, graphic designer and marketer for the Adventist Development and Relief Agency.
Today we have Viola Cherie from ADRA taking your questions from Twitter about graphic design and marketing. Thanks for joining us today, Viola Cherie.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so our first question comes from MT Bologno. The question is, how much would a professional charge to design a logo package for a church ministry?
Logo packages can actually be quite expensive, and as a professional we tend to charge maybe about $75 an hour. But for a church ministry, it might be good to give that as your offering, because many times church ministries don't have that type of budget.
Okay, our next question is from Cleanse Janabala, asking, how do you design an effective poster?
One tip that is very important in poster design is that your concept must be very strong. So spend a lot of time on concept development. After that, I would say for design, choose a focus. Have one large piece of imagery, whether a picture or something that is a sketch, that is the focus of the poster.
And another question from MT Bologno, have you heard about or used Campaign Monitor?
Oh, sure. I've heard of Campaign Monitor. It is similar to many other email clients that you can find out there on the web, and they are a good resource for email marketing.
Thanks for joining us today, Viola Cherie.
Thank you so much for having me.
A renewed focus on prayer is the foundation of the Adventist World Church's Revival and Reformation Initiative. This week, Janet Page shares how asking God what to pray for can lead to a new prayer experience.
I would like to tell you about 777. I don't know if you've heard about it or have joined in, but it's an exciting adventure that thousands around the world are doing with God. And what it is Seventh-day Adventists praying at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. for the Holy Spirit. And people say, you know, and even I've felt this way. We've been doing this, it kind of gets old just praying for the Holy Spirit at 7 and 7. I would encourage you to ask God at that time, Lord, what do you want me to pray for right now? It's an amazing adventure what God will lead you to and ask you to pray for. And you get to see God work and answer so many prayers by doing that. But we need the Holy Spirit. And as we continue around the world joining in and praying for it, I believe we're going to see great things happen. We're already seeing it in some places. Churches that are being revived through praying at 7 and 7. Lives being revived, marriages. I had one lady, I was at a meeting in Indonesia, she tapped me on the shoulder and she said, I got to share something with you. I said, what? She said, I've been praying at 7 and 7 every day. She said, Janet, it's changed my life. She said, it's changed my life. I said, why? She said, it's gotten me to focus more on God and to really spend time praying and talking to Him. I hope you will join us at 7 and 7, 7 days a week. God bless you.
When I read The Great Hope, I came across this wonderful passage which read, "It was the power of the God of truth and wisdom that controlled even the adversaries of the Reformation and thus prepared the way for the great work about to be accomplished." Martin Luther was not present, but the voice of one greater than Luther had been heard in the assembly. This is when Luther was challenged by the court about his faith. And this gives me hope because I know that even when I'm not there, God can use even adversaries of the truth. And He can really make the work, accomplish the work through His power. Not necessarily I have to take that responsibility.
Welcome back. John Beckett has a tutorial of mapping technology on this week's Tech Corner.
I recently got a call from the principal of the Adventist school my boys attend. In our area, traffic is awful, so getting kids to school is a challenge. We also know that our school's families live all over the region. What he wanted to do was to see where everyone lives on a map so he could identify clusters of families who could carpool. This could really help with what's known in our school as transportation issues. I can think of a lot of other ways this kind of map could be used. For instance, you could map districts for elders. It could also help you identify gaps in your ministry's reach into the community. Think about the data you already have and how you could visualize it better overlaid on a map. Well, it turns out there are a variety of web services you can use to do this. I like zmaps.com very well because the free level of service includes password protection, a critical feature. To use the service, just download your address data from your contact management software. Delete the comments that are not needed in Excel, then upload it into Zmaps. You can include other information like names and phone numbers that you want to display when you click on a pin. Zmaps will take a little while processing the data. Come back in 5 or 10 minutes to see all the pins. You can password protect the map or download the embed codes to put it on your website. In closing, this tool can be really helpful in solving a range of issues, but use some good sense with what kind of personal information you can load in, especially if you're sharing it publicly.
The Literature Evangelism program in South America has Adventist young people there learning lessons outside of the classroom. Howard Figo reports.
the publishing ministry of the church is growing in the area of printing and circulating our literature. Along with Ellen White's counsel, we distribute books and magazines like never before. For the first time in our church history, the World Church distributed 100 million books in 1 year. The growth in the number of literature evangelists in many divisions requires us to develop adequate and professional training programs. As the first step to address this important and urgent need, we initiated the establishment of a structured training program in each union called the Literature Ministry Seminary. Then the development of a world curriculum as model for the world field became absolute necessity. We just completed that step, and now we are working on the training materials for each subject based on that curriculum. This seminary training program requires a total of 108 hours of instructions, including field, laboratory, and classroom dynamics. In many unions, the church leadership established permanent literature ministries seminary buildings devoted for that purpose. We have 17 of them worldwide. Some divisions and unions conduct their training inside our Seventh-day Adventist colleges and universities, tapping the school facilities and the expertise of college professors. Inter-American Division, for example, just in Mexico, concluded the first graduation for 93 literature evangelists who underwent this training program in Linda Vista University. The goal of this program is to develop literature evangelists who will be professional in their area of ministry, faithful to their calling, and effective soul winners for God's kingdom.
When we come back after the break, the news you reported this week.
All I could see was my husband's body just sinking to the bottom. That day, I will never forget. And that prayer was the hardest prayer I've ever said in my life.
Seeing it put all together, the history of our church, where Adventism comes, and the end-time events and how they all come together and affect my life as an individual and my life as a part of the community of my church. I think that given the recent events in our world's and our church's history, now is the time.
Welcome back. Let's turn to Lauren Lombard for this week's iShare report.
Welcome to iShare, where you bring the news to us. This week, we have a story from Limache, Chile. Local churches participated in a government project promoting healthy lifestyle choices in young adults called Project Young Life, Healthy Life. Pathfinder Club members helped with and participated in activities such as learning about sexual responsibility and preventing social risk. The young people learned about various aspects of responsibility along with Jesus' love. Thank you for watching iShare. Have a story of your own to submit? Visit us at news.adventist.org/iShare.
A new cookbook by Nancy Kite takes readers on a journey around the world, one bowl of soup at a time.
My interest in travel probably started back when I was a little girl going to Sabbath school. My favorite part of Sabbath school was the mission story. I just loved hearing about the people and the traditions and customs in faraway countries. And since that time, I've traveled to 34 different countries, and I'm still excited about travel. And that's why I wrote a cookbook called A Taste of Travel. This cookbook is a little bit different. It's full of vegetarian soups and stew recipes from all around the world because I discovered that almost every country enjoys a soup or stew of some kind. The recipes are arranged alphabetically in order of country, so you'll find the recipes from Afghanistan and ending at Zimbabwe. And on each country page there are some tips that tell you a little bit about the etiquette or customs or traditions of that particular country. I've often been asked, well, what are your favorite recipes from the cookbook? And I have to say, since I wrote it, of course I like every one, but there are a few that stand out to me. I like the recipe called Hearts of Palm Soup from Argentina. It's very deluxe. And I also like the pomegranate lentil stew from Uzbekistan. It has a very fragrant floral taste to it. One of the nicest customs that we have as a people is that we can settle down with a cup of soup. People are doing it all around the world, and the most pleasant way to do it is to sit down with a friend. So I hope you get some good ideas from A Taste of Travel and enjoy traveling from your own kitchen.
You can order A Taste of Travel online at AdventistBookCenter.com.
Now let's turn to David Trim for a look at Adventist history. This week, early Adventist pioneers choose a name for the church.
Welcome to This Week in Adventist History, a week of significant Seventh-day Adventist firsts. On September 30, in 1891, Union College opened in Lincoln, Nebraska with 73 students. October 1st is a red letter day for Adventists, for on that day in 1860, a conference in Battle Creek, Michigan, of those former Millerites who were also Sabbatarians ended with delegates choosing a name for those they represented. That name was Seventh-day Adventist. On October 3 in 1922 in Southern California, La Sierra Academy opened as a 12-grade school with 204 students. It subsequently became a college and is today's La Sierra University. On October 4 in 1906, Loma Linda College, as it then was, opened with 35 students. It later combined with the College of Medical Evangelists to become Loma Linda University. From October 4 through 6 in 1861, representatives of the recently named Seventh-day Adventists from across Michigan gathered in the town of Battle Creek and there organized the Michigan Conference, the very first formal SDA organization. On October 5 in 1907, Arthur L. White was born near St. Helena, California. The third son of Ellen White's third son, W.C. White, Arthur became an author, minister, and teacher, and for over 40 years, from 1937 to 78, the secretary of the Ellen G. White estate. He played a key role in shaping his grandmother's prophetic legacy. That was This Week in Adventist History.
Thanks for watching Adventist News Network. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
In the meantime, follow us on Twitter. You can connect with other Adventists worldwide and join in our weekly social media conversations. Just search for Adventist News on Twitter.com.
Our good news for this week comes from Galatians chapter 6, verse 9 says, "And let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart."
That's our show for this week. Don't forget you can always visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.